record button and sharing my screen. Stop. Continue. Okay. Can I get a thumbs up from somebody who can see that? You can. Okay. Well, great. Well, good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome. It's been a while since I've been hosting this call, so it is great to see some faces I recognize. I see we've still got some participants coming on the line. To those that you are joining us, welcome, welcome. This is a different system to normal, so if you can just make sure you are muted so we don't have any interference, that would be fantastic. Very briefly, I think most of you know me, but I know there's a few new faces on the call. So just muting everybody out there. A few new faces on the call. My name is Lara Zimmerman. I'm originally from Ireland, but I live in southwest London with my husband and my 3 children. My business background has always been in business. Very traditional business up until 6 years ago. I had a yoga business in Dublin, moved to the UK, and I set up a yoga company with my sister-in-law, which I ran for 8 years. So health and well-being has always been a real passion for me. 6 years ago, I found myself at home with 3 young children, 3 children under the age of 3.5. Don't ask me what happened, it just happened. And I was at that stage where my husband and I were having those conversations where he was going, I think you need to think about getting a job. But I didn't want a job. I was loving hanging out with the kids at home, but I tell you what I wasn't loving was the fact that I had no real income. And it's when the world of network marketing kind of stumbled on me. In fact, the person who introduced me to this, and this is a really good story, I'm going to tell it briefly, but the person who introduced me to my first network marketing, it took them 9 months for me to go and sit down and look at the info. Now, she was my sister-in-law, so she's somebody I knew really well, I trusted, I'd been in business with her previously, but it took her 9 months. I said no for 9 months. So, some of the things we're going to be talking about later with Tara is about being a business builder. And, she has amazing persistence, not aggression, not angry, just staying in touch with people, drip feeding information on it. So I was dripped information for 9 months. And finally, I went and had a look. And I got involved, very part-time, spare time in those days because the kids were very young. But first couple of years, I was, maybe making sort of between £500 to £800 a month. It wasn't big bucks. But then nearly 4 years ago, I was fortunate to partner with Rachel and Tara in another company and was able to go out and earn a fairly significant 6-figure income. So that's just my background. That's how I come to be here with you. What I want to say to everybody who's on tonight's call, well done for showing up. Very much big part of what we do is just this continual personal development, this road to learning more about your business, more about LifeVantage, more about our amazing products, but also about being a business builder. And I know everybody on the line has different goals right now, different motivations. Maybe you're brand new and you're just trying to get your head around it all. You might be a little bit further down the road. Maybe you've got bigger goals and there's things that you want. But I can tell you by turning up on calls like this each week and having your new people who turn up on these calls each week, is the best place to start. You'll find, Lisa, our upline, she shares an amazing story that her first, I think it was 3 years in the industry, she earned less than a couple $100. That's in the industry, okay? Not just with LV. And now she's a 6-figure income earner. How did she do that? Well, she just worked on herself, personal development. So I just want to welcome you all, congratulate you all for showing up this evening. So first thing I just want to talk about is I just want to have a really quick checklist as to where we are right now in terms of the month. We're the 12th, which means we have had 2 auto ship dates. For those of you that are new to the business, all of our reoccurring customers get to choose a date which their new product, their next month's product comes in, and that is the 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th of the month. So far, with the 12th of September, we've had 2 auto ships go out, and one of the absolute fundamental aspects of building this business is that we all make sure, we're all on the product ourselves. I love it that we only need to have one product. It's per tandem, 40 PV. Obviously, it does help if you're using the skincare and some of the other products, but make sure that of your personal volume, 40 is your own personal usage, 40 PV, and that's on auto ship. So again, to the new people on the line, if you're not set up for auto ship yet, just ask your enroller to show you how to do that, or somebody within your support structure. But we want to get everybody to 200 PV. Why? Well, lots of reasons. Primarily, it means that you absolutely maximize the comp plan. It means that you tick all the boxes and you'll get paid on everything within the comp plan. But also, as you go forth and build your organization, the 200 PV is like the building block. So anybody who has kids or remembers being a kid themselves will remember Lego. You know, one piece of Lego on its own doesn't do a lot. Put a load of pieces of Lego together and you can have a lot of fun. You can build a structure. So 200 PV is a fundamental part of what we're at. So again, guys, I like to always have hit that marker by the 5th of the month, because then I know, tick, off we go. Next thing I want to do is talk about our events calendar. Now, this is an exciting month. We've just come out of a bit of a sleepy summer. We're all Europeans on the line. We're going to be joined by Tara, and I think the Americans, their summer kind of is a week or two of holiday. Us Europeans tend to take at least 4, 6, maybe even a bit longer for that. But we have a roadshow taking place, and I know this shareable has been put out in all of our groups, but I really want to just make sure you have asked the question, have I really taken a proper look at this? And I tell you why. You might be like me in Southwest London in Balham. See the Balham event? That's going to be at my house on the 27th of September. So you might be really interested in building your business local. You know, you might be the person in Cardiff. But here's the thing. You might know somebody in Glasgow. And what I want to say is, don't just look at this and have a quick scan. I urge you all, when we get off tonight's call, go spend 20 minutes looking through this list of venues. For our Dutch friends over there, grab a map of the UK. It's, you know, it's a big country, but it's actually quite small. That's a real oxymoron there. It's, you know, you have a look, and, you know, you can be sure and same for us over here. Who do we know in the Netherlands? Okay, so looking at what's going on, Lisa and Vicky and Sam are all in Milton Keynes tonight. You know, you're going to be kicking yourself if you look at the map of Milton Keynes tomorrow and realize it was only half an hour from Hitchin, and you know somebody in Hitchin. Because here's the thing about these events. This event schedule will help you leverage your business. Now, what does that mean? Well, one of the first things that I absolutely fell in love with network marketing was the leverageability of the business. I'd been in traditional business where if I had done the work, you know, we got an invoice, hopefully we got paid, but if that was how it worked. Now, in network marketing, there is a system. So hear what I say. If you have a friend, a colleague, an acquaintance, maybe somebody on Facebook you're connected with, but you've never really got chatting, in Burnley, okay, and you can have a conversation, whether it's on Facebook Messenger, text, phone, whatever it is, and you can get them to that event in Burnley on, the 14th, Wednesday night. Lisa's going to show up. She's going to do a presentation. She's going to tell them all about this amazing business, and she's going to do that bit of work. Your job is to get them there and then follow up after it. So, guys, have a look at look at the map, look at the area surrounding it. You know, I've had to look at a map. I don't come from the UK. So when I look at Huddersfield, actually it was really near somebody I used to do yoga with, and I knew, and they've been sent a message today. So we're Milton Keynes tonight. It's probably already over. Burnley on Wednesday, Huddersfield Thursday, Preston on Thursday as well. The Netherlands, we've got 3 events running in the Netherlands. Now, I know the Netherlands is a slightly smaller country. I think it's a lot easier to get around. I see nodding coming through, so that's good affirmation there. So who do you know over there? Or maybe ask within your team, who do we know in those areas? We've got Watford, which is North London. Trust me, guys, that everybody north of the Thames, all those northern home counties, people can get to Watford. It's a good hub. Cardiff. Okay, Cardiff over in Wales. You've got people coming up from Swansea, Bristol, Bath, funnel them through. We've got Preston again on the 21st. Somebody is very keen up there. Ashby de la Zouch on the 25th. Sutton Coldfield, that's the East Midlands. Balham, that's Southwest London. Okay, Southwest London. We should have probably put it in there so maybe people didn't know. So if you know anybody, Central London, Southeast, Southwest, we can funnel them in. And in Glasgow, that's in Scotland. So again, you know, Glasgow to Edinburgh is 1 hour. Don't think they live in Edinburgh, they won't go. You don't make that decision for people. So really take a good look at this. All of the event details, we couldn't possibly get them all on one flyer, but they're all there under the big blue calendar. They'll have start times there, and you've got Lisa. Now, what I also wanted to do, because not everybody who's in the business has maybe been to a business presentation, maybe you've been to an online webinar. Okay, so I thought, well, if you're going to be inviting people along, what can they expect to hear? What if you're putting somebody in that room? What do you want to know? Well, first of all, they're going to hear the presenter story. They're going to hear their backstory, how they came to be introduced to this business, and how they're doing so far. They're probably also, I haven't put it in here, going to hear some customer testimonials. Okay, I think all of us every day in Life Vantage stories see incredibly compelling stories that make us think of people. Okay, so these are going to be real people in the room who are on the product, getting results, seeing some amazing things happen. So they're going to hear about that, but they're going to hear, just like in a webinar, they're going to hear about the company, they're going to hear about the product, and they're going to hear about the story. Now, here's what it is. I often get people going, well, I think he would just be interested in the product, so I'm not going to invite him. What I'll tell you is the presentation does not rule out a customer. In fact, we want customers. Probably 9 out of 10 people we show this to will be a customer. But here's the thing, this company has amazing customer retention, so they really matter. So don't put off inviting people just because you think they're interested in the product. I would literally look to invite everyone you can in those areas. And also, you know, speaking, and the reason I told you at the beginning, I spent 9 months waiting to look at this business. I wasn't actually, I didn't think I was going to be interested, nor did my sister-in-law by the time she got me along there, but I was. And I wasn't just interested in the product, I was also interested in the business. Now, hold on a sec, we've got somebody talking, so I need to ask if somebody can mute out there in the background. Manage participants, let me say, mute all, continue. Sorry about that. And we've got Tara on the line, so we're almost ready to go. So absolutely, really, really take a look at that events calendar. Lisa, Vicky, Ivan, they set that up so we can build, for those of us who are building part-time, building our businesses part-time, can absolutely leverage those events, get people in front of the information, get people in front of the product, people who are on the product, let them share their stories and get a real feel for how powerful this opportunity really, really is. So I don't think we have time to go into now, but there are so many ways. I also just want to touch very briefly on, we all have a phone full of names and numbers. Scroll through it to see who are those in those areas. Use your Facebook page. Spend half an hour looking at your friends in Facebook, but who are near those events, who can you get along? And also LinkedIn. If you're a LinkedIn user, there's a very easy way of searching. And what I was going to do for the group is just show you, I'll record a short video, I'll drop it into our LVEU group so you can see exactly how you can find a friend or a contact within maybe a 10 or a 15 or 20 mile radius of those events. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to keep this lady waiting. I don't want to keep her waiting because, for a couple of reasons. One, she is one of the most successful people in this industry that I've ever come across. Her story will certainly resonate with everybody if you haven't already heard it. She's a mother of 3. She's been able to generate $1 million income from this industry. But also I don't want to keep her waiting because today is a very special day. It's her birthday, and she's actually agreed to come on the line this evening and give us training on her birthday. Now, I just want everybody to just give her lots of virtual love in our chat group. Thank her massively coming on. Thank her, wish her a happy birthday, because we've got Tara Wilson, our Master Elite Pro 8 on the line to give us a massive introduction. So over to you, Tara.
Thank you guys. Good evening, and sorry for the casual look. It's only noon here and I've been running around buying people presents on my birthday. I have a bunch of presents I've been buying people. You know, we have the Elite Retreat coming up this week, and don't tell Rachel and Kelly, but they're joining us, so I'm going to surprise them with a little gift basket in their hotel room. And I bought my girls stuff, I bought my son stuff. I'm like, wow, this is what it's sometimes that's a better gift, right? Is giving. So I got my hat. I'm representing the year I was born, right? Oh, that doesn't add up to 29. Oh, that's weird. I'm 29. How does the math's off? But anyway, thank you guys. I'll jump right in here. My story, for those of you guys, thank you for all the well wishes. For those of you who haven't heard it, is a little over 9 years ago, while I was working full time with two small kids, they were at the time 11 months and 7. Now today they're 16 and a half, 10, and another one came along in that journey is 7 years old. But I was working 40 hours a week full time, and never dawned on me to do anything else. Of course, we always want more time, more money, more freedom, more options, right? It's not about things. It's about just having the ability to enjoy our lives. And so when I saw this industry, I had never known anybody who had success with it. So I was not interested. In fact, when I was invited to my first meeting, it was no. I don't want to sell anything. I already, work full time. When am I going to fit this in? And when I finally saw what was possible, these women making literally $300,000 a year after 10 months with no experience, I said, I got to go find that out. So I went, and that decision to go that day seemed insignificant. And so we're going to talk today about developing the mindset of a builder. Is all they had to do was get me to the meeting. The rest, the meeting did the rest. All my sister and brother had to do was convince me to go and take a look. And when I saw what's possible, within 8 months, I replaced a 6-figure income. And in the last 9 years, I've made over $3.5 million in this industry and retired both myself and my husband from corporate America. And so just, think even if it took you 10 years to find someone like me, my teams have done over $160 million in sales in 12 countries. And I didn't even know a single person outside the United States when I started. In fact, this is something that I love telling people. I didn't know a single person in my team today. In my team, with distributors and customers, we have now almost 10,000 people. I didn't know a single one of them when I said yes to this industry, 9 years ago. In fact, the 3 people that helped earn my first $500,000 in the first 2 years, I didn't know any 3 of those. There's 3 people that really were like the big ones. I didn't know any of them before I said yes. So that's something I really want you guys to think about. And I might actually even pull out my whiteboard and do a little demonstration, because I love this this concept. And the first thing I want you guys to do before we talk about, the how-to is the mindset of why, right? Why do you want to do this? Let me grab my whiteboard. It'll take 2 seconds. You're getting the real good stuff here today. You're getting the whiteboard. Woo! Can you see that okay? All right. So one of the greatest concepts that I have ever learned is by Brian Tracy, and it's called the tunnel theory. And I'm telling you this because a lot of people, let me see that. Can you see that good? Here, I'll move this a little closer. All right. All right. A lot of people sit there and they determine whether they want to do network marketing. So you call your friend, your family, whoever, your business partner, your neighbor, a coworker, and you give them all this information, right? We've got this health product, we've got this skincare line, we've got this amazing opportunity to earn income, and you should join. And their decision to join or not is based on one thing. So they're standing here, and they're looking into this tunnel. And what they can see is, right, just a little bit. This is the eyesight. You can only see, right? This is mom, dad, sister, brother, neighbor, friend, best mate, whoever. And they make a decision whether to join the business based on what they think these people will say, right? So you guys make a list of everybody and you start judging, right, whether they'll say yes or not. And here's the thing. Brian Tracy says, your success is a tunnel. And what happens is there are so many doors and windows along the way. There are people, here's I'll just call her Tina. Tina she was a 6-figure earner in my first 2 companies, brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. I didn't know Tina before I started, right? Then there was Lyle. Lyle was a professional baseball player who made $7 million a year here in the US. That was a friend of my husband's friend from college. I didn't know Lyle. And Lyle brought in hundreds of thousands of them. Then there was Chris, or actually it was Shosh. Shasha's, Chris, her husband was one of my mortgage broker reps. And one day we were sitting there and he says, how's your business going? Because rates for mortgages were just really bad in 2007. And I said, not great, but I'm doing this side business and it's a health product and I'm making an extra $500 a month, but it's, I think there's some potential opportunity. He goes, really? What's your website? He says, I'm going to have you call my wife because she was making $250,000 a year and hated her job. So she quit and isn't doing nothing. Shash brought in over 3,000 people in 2 years. And I didn't know her before I started, right? 4 years into the industry, somebody named Rachel Jackson called me and said, hey, it's RJ. I heard about this business that you're doing with Molly. Tell me about it. Tell me your story, right? And, obviously, Rachel now is Pro 8 on my team. And so you just never know. The Rachels and the Tinas and the Lyles and the Shannons, they weren't here before I started, right? They weren't here. I had no idea. But what happens is all you have to do is continue down that path because the opportunities, if you keep doing the right thing and keep saying the right things and work with integrity and brand yourself as a professional and know what you're doing and why you're doing it and have passion, you're going to find the right people. None of these guys were on my list. $3.5 million was made from complete strangers. It wasn't my best friend. It wasn't my siblings. In fact, the first company, all my siblings were already in it. I was the last one to say yes in my whole family. And you know how much money I made my first 30 days? $40. My mom bought a case of juice from me. It was juice. It's Monavie. It's no longer. And my loan processor, I said, hey, I need to make this first rank. You have to buy this. And he said, okay, and bought it from me. That was my first 30 days, right? And I just kept going to this lady's house for 6 weeks in a row. And I sat in the front every day and I took notes because she was making $300,000 a year after 10 months. And I said, gosh, there's nothing here that's earth shattering. She doesn't have a degree in science. She was not an entrepreneur before. She's not experienced in wealth, or health and wellness. She was she had a corporate job doing nothing as anything to do with health. And I just said, if I just learn from her. So I just took pages of notes. And I said, she has a whiteboard and she's drawing circles. So I went out and bought myself a whiteboard. She's playing this video and saying these things. And that's all I did. So the moral of the story here is let's not overthink this. You know how I got people to go to the meeting? They say, a guy came to my door trying to sell me vacuum cleaners. I'm like, you're trying to make money? Well, look, I don't know anything about this thing. All I know is this lady down the road in Pleasanton, which is the name of the town actually, 30 minutes away, she's making $300,000 a year with this product. And I don't know how she's doing it, but I'm going to go to the meeting tonight and find out. Every single person came to the meeting. Everyone signed up. I didn't sit there and say like, oh, are you open to making up? I said, hey, there's this health product and this lady's making a ton of money. I don't know how she's doing it. I'm going to go find out. You want to come with me? And everyone came with me and everyone signed up. And then I realized she's making all the money. I got to stop going to her party and I got to start getting in living rooms. So I found people to go into living rooms. So you have to have the mindset that you're looking for distributors, right? Of course, our end game is customers. In fact, I'm going to tell you a story that one of my friends said, and I've known him for a really, really long time. And he said, I'm scared to bring people to your meetings because you're so focused on the business. That's all you talk about. And that's uncomfortable for me. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, sometimes I just want to bring a customer and I don't want them to be ambushed with the business. I said, well, then we just need to teach you how to invite properly because usually we invite the people who just want to be customers to leave the room. It's fine. I said, but let's talk about this. Why is it uncomfortable? He says, because it seems shallow. It seems like it's all about the money. And I said, okay, so you and me both want the same thing. We believe in the product, right? Yes. Do you want customers? I say, yes. And I said, I want customers. I said, this was a few years ago and you're going to like die when you hear the numbers. But I said, how many customers do you have right now doing what you're doing? He said 40. I said, awesome. I have 40,000 right now. And that was before I had 400,000, by the way. I said, today I have 40,000 customers on my team actively ordering. Who is being more successful at the goal that we both have? And he said, oh my God, I get it. I can't do it all by myself. You can't do it all by yourself. You are one person. The only way you're going to impact a lot of lives is if you get people to do what you're doing. And that's what you guys need to focus on is, the business builder mindset is I'm not doing this just to make a bunch of money. I'm doing this because my goal in life is to help people get healthy through products and education, to slow down or reverse the horrific epidemics that are skyrocketing of cancer and heart disease and diabetes and obesity. That's why you don't see me selling makeup. I love makeup. I won't sell makeup. I won't sell telecom. I won't sell utilities. I won't sell lotion. I have lotion because it's great, but I got into LifeVantage for Protandim. That's it. It was the only company that interested me. And if it wasn't Protandim or it wasn't LifeVantage, I was going to quit the industry, go get a nutrition degree, and probably open a gym. So I want you to really think about this when you're talking to people, when you're recruiting, right? It's great. It's easy to get customers, but what's better is to get someone dreaming. Like I'll tell you right now, everyone loves the idea of having more. It doesn't mean more stuff. It means more time, more freedom, more financial rewards, and more options. So nobody is going to be offended if you do it the right way. Hey, I found a way to help people get healthy. You won't even believe it, but it's also, there's an opportunity to make money, and it may not be for you, but holy cow, I never thought it was possible for me with me either, but it's changed my life. And I am so over the moon excited about these products. You've got to hear about them. Like the results people are having on the product makes me so proud to be part of this business. And I'm doing this because I want to help to get this society healthier, because the wellness industry needs more professionals like me and you. So even if you only do it part-time, even if you only do it 5 hours a week, I want to show you what's possible, because maybe you never knew what was possible. Tell them your story, right? Laura, you had never done network marketing until you did network marketing, and someone shared it with you, and now you love it. You've made a 6-figure income. Don't ever be afraid to talk about the business. I talk about the business. I lead with the business to everybody I talk to. Now, here's a great way to not be rejected. Just say, hey, I have a wellness business. And the greatest thing about it is other people can own them, kind of like a franchise, but without all the headaches of a franchise, without the monotony of a franchise. Because when you buy a franchise and let's say you buy a Subway sandwich franchise, you guys have those there, so you know what that is, right? My nose itches. I think I'm allergic to something in my office. Every time I come in here, my whole face starts itching. So Subway sandwich franchises, it's around anywhere from 175,000 to 250,000, and even upwards of that. McDonald's are in between 1 and 2 million, right? So Subway franchise, like if you start the franchise, you're on your own. You get a manual and you get all these agreements that you sign saying, I understand if I fail, it's all my fault. I understand that I will be given initial training, but I have to succeed, right? So you spend $250,000, and if you fail, it's on you. And by the way, the average Subway franchise owner makes about $60,000 a year. So what is that, like 40,000 pounds a year? The average Subway franchise owner in the U.S. is 40 to 80,000 a year. So you are buying yourself a job. You have to have employees and all this, right? So just say, hey, I found a way to make income to help people, and it's more easy than you think. And I'm looking for 2 types of people. I am looking for customers. When you find out what our products are and what they do for people, I bet you, if you don't want them, you'll know a lot of people that will. Number 2, I'm looking for entrepreneurs. We are expanding here in the UK. We are expanding here in the Netherlands, and there is an opportunity now that they will never be, in 5 to 10 years from now, to earn income. Let me tell you a story about, Laura or Ivan or Lisa. Like, let me tell you a story. And we're working with a team, and this is what is in it for you. Hey, these are the 2 types of people I'm looking for. Who do you know? So if you have 200 people on your list, and everyone should have a list, and don't skip around and don't prejudge, because if you skip around, you're prejudging. You are saying to yourself, if you have number 1 on the list and you don't call them first, it's because you're prejudging and you're not doing what the actual process is just explaining, exposing people. This is not a closing business. This is a sorting business. I would never have found Lyle and Tina and Shannon had I prejudged, right? When the opportunity came up, I just said, hey, I'm doing this business on the side and I'm making a little bit of money, but there's some upside potential. And he's like, well, what about my wife? And I went and met her at Starbucks. And I had no idea what I said to her, but she said, that sounds good. And here's the funny thing is we had a party and 32 people came to our first party. One signed up. One bought a case of juice, one bought a bottle. And over the next 6 months, because we consistently kept doing it, 28 of her friends that were at that initial party became distributors. But they didn't say yes at first, right? But did she give up? No. And went on to make $83,000 her first year in network marketing with no experience. And she wouldn't even stand in front of the room. She made me do it. She was so shy. She wouldn't even get recognized when she was like doing this high rank. She was the equivalent of like a Pro 7. She wouldn't even stand up to be recognized. She would just wave from her seat. She could care. Like, she was hating. So it's like if somebody who's shy, who won't even stand up in front of her own living room, can do this, anybody can, right? She just got good at pushing a video and saying, Tara, go talk to him, right? And I was willing to do it because she lived a couple miles from me. But the whole bottom line is, if you have 200 people on your list, you are going to be massively shorting yourself if all you're talking about is the product. Because our goal here at Team Heart is to have 1 million users. We're not going to find 1 million users by just talking about the product, right? We have a great 10-to-1 customer to distributor ratio, but I know that we can do more. And I think that the more people we get to see the business, the more stories we're going to have, the more results we're going to have, the exponentialness. So every single person. And someone says, well, Tara, should I have my grandma on the list? I said, is your grandma alive? Yeah. Well, then put her on the list. Well, what do I sell? She's not going to sell anything. I said, it doesn't matter. Hey, grandma, I just launched a health and wellness business, and you would be so proud of me. I am helping people get healthy. I am looking for customers, and I'm also looking for people who want to do this as a business. Who do you know? Grandma, who do you know that's got aches and pains? Who do you know that's tired? Who do you know that has 1,000 prescriptions a day that doesn't want to? Who do you know that needs better energy? Like the guy that's like always sluggish. Oh, right? And then remember, grandma has friends. All of a sudden, if grandma's friend has extraordinary results and her son, who's 45 years old, is a hotshot entrepreneur, picks this up and says, Grandma, we can make money with this, you have no idea what that can lead to. Tunnel. Go down the tunnel no matter what, even when you can't see. That's called faith. And that's called long-term vision, right? Had I seen that Rachel was coming into my business, 5 years into it, sure, I would have said yes, but I didn't know that. I had no friends. My friends said no. All my family was already in it. All my aunts and uncles were like, don't get too excited about those things. They don't work, right? Don't quit your day job. Nobody in my life said yes. And I honestly almost didn't do it because of that. But then I thought, well, these people are doing it. There's got to be people like me. So everyone I came across, whether it was a friend in the mortgage business or somebody down at the park, I just said, hey, I have a health and wellness business. I'm looking for consumers and I'm looking for people who want to make money. It's so easy. It's sharing a health product that's helping people. And they're like, what is it? And then you just give them the information and then let them decide. But if you're not talking about the business, you are massively cutting yourself at the knees. You'll never have the kind of success. I have never, ever felt uncomfortable about leading it because I've always represented health products that I absolutely 100% believe in, that I use myself, and I think that a person's life will be better if they take them. I know that with my heart, just seeing the retention, that people are literally lifetime users of Protandim. That I saw a couple of people that had to step away from their LifeVantage business and were calling me going, what's going on with this company? I stepped away from my business for 2 months and my paycheck has not gone down. Like, holy cow. I said, that's called retention, right? And I know that you guys have more, products coming in your funnel, but the True Science Skincare, every single person I know that uses it's like, I'm in love with this product, and it's 1/3 of the cost of the stuff that I was buying, and I'm having better results, right? And you guys are going to get all of our Axio. You're going to get our weight loss programs. You're going to get all of that in the future. But right now, just remember that my sponsor, my mentor, Carrie Dickey, she got to Pro 10 in 22 months with 1 bottle of Protandim and the number 4 anti-aging cream. Not even the whole skincare set, just those 2 products. So stop focusing on what you don't have and focus on what you do. Our star of our show that makes us unique is the Protandim. And right now, guys, you should be going after distributors with everything you have for 3 reasons, right? Timing is everything. And this, I mean, come on, there's not even 2 million people worldwide that have ever ordered like Protandim or any of our products. There's not even 2 million customers yet. Oh, total, because it's all in chronological order. And I know that every time a customer distributor goes in, I look at that number and it's like 1.7 or something like that, 1.6. And I'm like, there's 322 million people right here in the United States. It's freaking A. I live in California. There's 39 million people. There's 60 million people in the UK. So timing is everything. Netherlands, you got another 17 million people. Nobody knows about this yet. And that's the best timing for you guys. Number two is that the press we have right now is unbelievable. The wind is in our sails. You're a AAA opportunity by the Global Direct Selling Association's governing body says this is an opportunity based on the comp plan and the products and all the things that they look at and evaluate. We got the highest rating, right? We have a National Institute of Aging that did a federally funded 10-year study on our product saying it extends life and no other product does. That is something that should give you guys confidence. You know, we were the number 5 overall performing stock year to date on the entire NASDAQ. Guys, your snootiest persnickety prospect cannot deny that credibility. This is credibility like no other. You guys should be so focused on the business. And then when you get the distributor, you go to their list of 200 people and you help them get customers. Everyone should have customers. I don't think my PV's ever been less than 2,500 since I started. I have my own customers. I get customers every single month, right? Again, from friends, from family, from Facebook, everywhere. I have customers. You will get customers. Don't worry about that. Customers will come because not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. But if you focus on customers, you're not going to end up with business builders because they're not even going to know the business exists. If you focus on distributors, then you give them something to think about. They'll become your customer. And here's what everyone tells themselves. Most people, I'll say 90% of the people, when they hear about the business, they're going to say this. Well, I should just take the product because if that product works for me, I will sell to everybody I know and I'll make money, right? So if they don't know that the money-making opportunity is a possibility, they may not be as excited to talk about the products, right? And then they're going to have a really good attitude toward it. And I really believe in the power of the mind. Right? They do studies that show if you talk to a glass of water and tell it it's beautiful, and another room you talk to another glass of water, the same glass of water, and tell it's ugly, and then you freeze them. This one forms beautiful crystals, and this one is jagged and like this is science. You can talk nice to a plant or you can talk mean to a plant. One plant will grow and one plant will die in the same environment. Why? Because I believe that we can influence our energy and ourselves. So start telling yourself every day that you're a powerful, attractive business partner, right? And everyone's going to be attracted to you and your energy, right? Every day that you take that product, I believe in the power of the mind. Now, there are certain things like my husband's psoriasis cleared up. And that's not something, I mean, that's something you can see. It was all over his body. But I believe that if you have a positive attitude about something, you're going to get better positive results, right? Because your subconscious will start thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't just take the Protandim. Maybe I should eat a salad today. Maybe I should have a veggie instead of a potato chip. Maybe I should have a smoothie, right? All of a sudden your subconscious wants you to live that life that you're sitting there thinking in your head, well, what if I could have better energy, right? Well, you might just do things that have, help you have better energy. And, for your skin, right? You might start taking care of your skin better. You might start washing it more. You might start putting sunscreen on things that are going to make your skin better. So I believe that if someone becomes a customer and they know that they could possibly share this and make money, and again, everyone wants more money because it's right there second to air. You have to have it. You live on the street with no clothes and no food if you have no money, right? It's a necessity. So, proudly talk about it. And, I don't know if you guys were able to listen to my training last Monday night that I did here in the US. It was based on Start With Why. This is one of the greatest books, Simon Sinek. You guys should go on YouTube and find the TED Talk. I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes. And it talks about Start With Why. And it talks about how people don't make decisions with their head. They make them with their heart, basically. It's called the limbic system. Have you ever noticed why, like you go to buy a car or you go to presentation and something just doesn't feel right, right? And here's what most people do. They say, here's what we have, here's how it works, and here's why we do it. So, and this is really valid for your presentations is like, yes, we have a business opportunity. It is a medical breakthrough. And then here's why you want to do it. So you guys hit them with fact, 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 fact. People making money. This is, free radicals and oxidative stress. And that doesn't even matter. What matters to somebody is to start with why. Start with your story. This is why Eric Worre said, start with your story. I was working full time and I hated dropping my children off. I didn't like that I couldn't work in my children's class and be there if my son had a bad day to pick him up, or stay home with my daughter if she was sick without stressing that I was losing something at work. Like this is going to relate to every mom out there, right? I was struggling to make money, or, whatever it is. Like I was in debt. Your story, I was in debt. The name of the book is Start With Why. Someone's just chatting. Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And go their pain. And then I found this industry and I was able to make more income. And now I get to take my kids to the park and I get to travel wherever I want. I have a life that no one imagined. Oh, and by the way, this is how I did it. I did it by building through a network, sharing a healthy product. And oh, by the way, this is what it is. You got to talk about why. Everyone hits people with the ABC video and they're like, why aren't they joining? I'm like, have you even talked to someone and just say, hey, you know what? What's the quality of your sleep? If you hear someone at a cocktail party saying, oh my God, I haven't slept good in weeks. Oh, you don't have good sleep? I have a product that millions of, or hundreds of thousands of people, that's their number one benefit is sleep. You've got to try it. People don't care what it is or how it works. They care why, right? Do you want to live longer? Yes. Do you want that quality of life better? Yes. Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to lower your risk of every chronic disease? Do you want to live longer? Do you want to play with your grandchildren when you're 70 instead of being in a wheelchair? Do you want to lower your chances of having prescription medicines? Yeah, great. Well, this is what it is. It's a product that lowers your oxidative stress. It causes all that stuff, and it's called Protandim. You got to talk about the why. So when you guys are talking to people, distributors, you got to find out a need, find a need and fill a need. Because here's what I know. When you talk to people and ask them what they want and why they want it, usually within the first 5 minutes of a conversation, people will let you know if they're disgruntled with their job, their marriage, their health. They will tell you. And when you can talk to them about it and say, gosh, how would it feel to have better health? How would it feel to make more money? How would it feel to see that credit card be zero? How would it feel to take your family on vacation, not have to worry? How would it feel to go first class? Like start getting them to dream and then say, look, this may or may not be for you, but it was an answer for me. I am sharing a health product and I am helping people live longer, look better, and have the best quality of life possible. And this is what it is. See, everyone else does the reverse. And I always say that my favorite famous quote that I made up, by the way, this is a Tara Wilson original. That's my only one, I think, is the problem is networkers are trying to lead the horse to water. The water is the what? The water is the ABC video. The water is the bottle of Protandim. And you think, gosh, I'm bringing these people to the video, but they're not buying. Your job is not to bring the horse to water. Your job is to make the horse so thirsty it's begging you for the water. You got to light somebody up. You got to get them dreaming of having a different life. And then when they see that what you have, whether it's the health products, the skin products, or the business opportunity is something that will solve the problems they already have, and they see it, they close themselves. So guys, make a new list today, whether you've called them or not. And I'll tell you a secret that I told Rachel. This is how she made, $32,000 in her first 2 months of network marketing, or in our last company. And she had never made more than $3,000 in a month in 4 years prior to that. She said, what do? I said, you need to get 200 people on a list and you need to call them. And I don't care what you say, be excited and get them to watch, talk to them, get them to watch a video and put them on the phone with me. And she literally wore my voice out. So if you guys have a list of 200, call them. Hey, I'm not sure if you knew this or not, or if I called you, but I started a business. I'm super excited. People are having great results. I'm proud of these products. And I'm also looking for business opportunity or people who are interested in the business, part-time, spare time, full-time, or even big time. You got to take it like, hey, who do you know? I'm just going, who do you know? I am building this through my network. And then ask them, hey, what do you do? How can I be a referral source for you as well, right? The law of reciprocity says, if you're a realtor and I send you somebody, you better be my customer, right? Or I'm taking my business to the next realtor down the road. If I could get you a $10,000 commission, but you can't buy a pot. I went to my realtor who made $30,000 from my commission, who did nothing but literally sign the paper. I found the house. I did everything. And you know what? I said, hey, you need to order my product. And she orders from me all the time because she knows that she better, or I'm not going to use her next time. That's just like the law of, you just do that, right? So go through those people as fast as possible. You're going to find 5 or 6 distributors, and you're going to find 10 to 20 customers. Then you go through again 60 days later. Hey, update. You kind of said you were in timing. This is what's happening. I've made $5,000. I have 46 customers with unbelievable results. And now I'm doing, I'm going again. I'm going on another run. Who's with me? And if you just keep going through that list, number one, never take someone off the list until they say, "Don't ever call me again," or till they die. And then they should get off the list. And be proud again. Hey, I just wanted to update you. Remember that thing? I wasn't really that, confident when I called you the first time. This is the best thing I've ever been involved in. The products are extraordinary. The company is even better than I ever imagined. And we're having fun and we're having success. Hey, it may not be for you. Who do you know? Who do you know? Can you jump on a call for 20 minutes and find out the information so that if it's not for you, you can actually be a referral source to me? Because here's the thing, guys. And this is your numbers. This is what kept me up at night when I first got into network marketing. Here's what's possible. Your first level. Someone's like, I only know 100 people. Great. Guess what? You don't have to sell all those 100 because every person knows 100 people. If you know 100 people who know 100 people who know 100 people, in the first level, 3 levels of your network, there's 1 million people. You know how you get to them? Who do you know? Even if all 100 people you call say it's not for me, get 1 referral from each of them, that's another 100. Get 5 referrals from each of them, that's 500. You can ask questions like this. Hey, who do you know that likes money? Well, I do. Okay, great. Then you should watch the video. Who do you know that wants to get healthier? I do. Great. You should watch the video. Who do you want to know that wants to live longer? I do. Who do you know that wants beautiful skin? Who do you know that wants more energy and better sleep? I do. Great. Good. Then you should watch this. If not, who do you know? Great. Why don't you grab a friend and hop on to the launch call, and time and date. Or, hey, if you don't, I'm going to send you a video. Can you watch it today? Let's not overthink this. Let's not overthink this. Bill, he calls himself the pastor of disaster. He's the #1 qualifier on our team so far for Cancun. He was the first to make it. And we had him on last week, and he says, all I tell people is, hey, if I send you a video, will you watch it? And they don't even ask what it is. He says, it's 6 minutes. I'm going to send it to you. When are you going to watch it? Then he calls him back and says, are you as curious and excited about this as I was? And then he has a conversation with them. And I go, what else? He goes, that's it. That's it. If I send you a video, will you watch it? He goes, not a single person has ever said no to me. Like he says, I don't tell them because I don't want them to not watch it. They're so curious, they have to watch it. When they see it's an ABC Primetime Investigative Report, they keep watching it. I said, what else? He goes, that's it. Keep it simple. But go through your list as feverishly as possible. Make September, be intentional about distributors. Here's why. Because right now you've got September, October, November is a high season for network marketing. The more distributors you have now, January through June is our peak. The more people you put in the business now, the more explosive your 2017 will be. And it will be exponential. Every 1 person you put in isn't going to turn into 5. It's probably going to turn into like 50. It's exponential. And then when you get a distributor, make sure you teach them, launch them correctly, and make sure that they are, focused, that they have 2 responsibilities. They're looking for distributors and they're looking for customers. So I've gone on long enough. I just want to thank you guys. Appreciate what you guys are doing out there in the UK. I need to come back out. I know I got to look at my schedule, which has been really packed, but I'd love to come do a tour out in the Europe market. And I love and appreciate all of you guys, and have a wonderful evening. And thank you for the birthday wishes again.
Thank you again, Tara. That was awesome. There was a lot of nuggets in that. I'm definitely going to be sharing this recording as soon as I can, because I know there's things in there I wasn't quick enough to scribble down, but super, super helpful. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
I will. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, we will wrap this up. I'm just going to have a quick check in the box. I think there was a couple of questions that came in. I think the question was the book, It Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and I also posted that in our group because I knew people would be wondering. Do you have to call them, or is texting okay? Well, Herman, what I'd say there is your energy comes through on a call or in person. If for any reason you can't speak to them, a text is always a good option, but I'd say leave it as the last option. Lots of thanks coming through. It was an amazing call. Tara says 99% of the communication is non-verbal, which is true. People often feel more than what they hear, for sure. So that is, if there's any more questions, you can post them in the LVEU group. But again, a massive thanks to Tara. That was an awesome training this evening, giving us lots of great techniques to go out and speak to people and some great mindset training there. So we'll wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us. This call's officially a wrap.